Futureproof is sponsored by Carrot Events, showcasing your company values with high-impact, bespoke events.
Hello and welcome to Futureproof as I continue filming as I travel around South America. And if you've been following, then I arrived in Peru and travelled through the Panama Canal, and we left Costa Rica and we are now in Colombia, the place that is very, very well known for things that are not so good. But I'm on a tour later and we'll hopefully hear some good things about Colombia. I know that on the top of the hill somewhere there's an old monastery that's now been turned into a church museum, and they've also been talking and saying about how they're trying to clean the country up. So I hopefully will find out more. But just as I'm here, I'm just going to show you here. It's amazing, these tugs that are moving this ship out here. It's obviously a container ship, and the tugs are pulling it out so that it can go out to sea. Everywhere I go there's just tugs everywhere. There's been a tug on the other side of us the whole time, bringing us in, and I'm sure it will stay with us all day. Okay, so here we are in Colombia. We've been in port this morning and had a quiet morning, and we've just joined a group of people now, and we're heading into town to actually have a horse and carriage ride. But we've stopped here at the fort in Colombia. We are 2 meters above sea level. The coffee, the main exports here are coffee and bananas and even beef, but they also grow a lot of their own vegetables. The colonial period here was 1533 to 1811, and it was part of a colony that the Spanish had, and they were very, very rich and wealthy, and they were managing to really hold their own here. The French and the English actually gave them a bit of a hard time and were fighting them one way or another, but the Spanish held off quite well. So apparently they're very rich, and it really served them very well. So apparently the French and the English even, I think, were part of the pirate or piracy to try and win some of the colonies here. There are 32 counties here in Colombia. Cartagena is where we are. It's the second oldest city, and it's the sixth largest city. Colombia is a very rich country, and the guide himself said that they've previously had really bad managers, but the last two presidents have done a fantastic job to fight corruption, which he openly said is not easy. So every 4 years the president is re-elected, and they're not allowed to stand for re-election, and that apparently includes senators and other senior people too. So it's all part of the way of combating corruption. So the rainy seasons is April till the end of November, and he says it never really rains for that long. You get 2 or 3 hours of sheet rain and then it just stops. The temperature is always constant here, 24 degrees, between 24 and 34 degrees, and as I say, just the rain that comes for 2 or 3 hours and then stops. But of course it's the humidity here that fluctuates, and I have to say it is very, very hot here. Even on the ship we just felt that we couldn't even eat outside. 65% of the population here are Roman Catholic, but we also have they also have Christians and other religions too. So this fort was built by slave labour, and there are holes in the wall to allow water to drain so that they don't get a build-up of water behind the wall, but also they were saying that if you look at it, and I'm going to see if I can move the camera around a minute, that you can see that there's actually layers on the wall, and the reason why there's layers is because they were trying to build it and protect it at the same time. So for each layer they would have guns, and the cannons are all facing out the other side to protect the bay, and then they would go up another layer but make sure they were safe at the same time. So we're not going up there. We've literally just stopped, and I'm expecting a call any second now to be called, and so that's the very top up there, which you can see, and there's actually what looks like a church bell up there too, and indeed next to it that does look like the top of a church building. So this is Colombia, and the next stop is going to be the horse and carriage. So future-proofing, in some way it is. Seeing how the other half live, to me, is, or how people around the world live, is all about future-proofing too. Education helps us future-proof, and so I think that's the angle that I'm taking on all these programs, that I'm just sharing what I'm learning as I walk around. And I think there's a lot that we can learn about history and what other people do. They started to build this wall in 1714. So obviously the road has opened up now. And there's some soldiers stood there.
The lady said there was Wi-Fi on the bus, is that right?
Oh, he shared the Wi-Fi of his phone with the lady.
And
Oh, is that what it was? Oh, okay.
Paul is asking about Wi-Fi on the bus.
On the bus, oh.
Well, I will find out with him, okay? If he's on the bus.
We're desperate to download emails, and I have to say, normally you can get 4G,
Yeah, don't worry.
but the whole time we've been here, we aren't getting, although it shows 4G and what have you, we aren't getting anything. I've literally just had one text backwards and forwards with Paul's sister. Nothing else has been going or coming. And oh, look at this down here. That's beautiful.
When we take the bus again, we're going to be passing by this area, so we'll make some quick stops.
As one does.
¿Tomar qué, vale? ¿Y este cacho qué? ¿Ah? ¿Tomar qué?
And you can see the wall, and you can see the convoy.
Soothing to me.
EQ, emotional quotient, is better known as emotional intelligence. It is a tangible tool that can sit alongside your services or your product, and it can be taught. Leaders with high EQ have less stress, they're more effective, and they earn more money. There's a great saying, just because we have pains, it does not give us permission to be a pain. I believe that teaching emotional intelligence has a direct impact on your sense of success and your net profits. EQ will empower you and your workforce to drive the change that you want. Change brings transition. EQ can help unpack what's holding you back and speed up that period of transition.